Hey guys, so for this video I wanted to do like a first impression try out with you guys. I did use some of the products before, so it's not like 100% first impression, but it is first impression for like the combination of products, I guess. But overall, some of these products are like drugstore and then some are high-end, so I try to kind of include a mixture of both and see how it works out. I hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned to see how I got this look. So for the first product I decided to try out, it is the NYX GlitterBrilliance, and I picked up the shade 02, I guess. It is this like purpley, almost champagne-y, maybe like a light violet tone. It's really pretty. I wanted to do one of those like eyelids when like the whole eye is glittery. I don't know. I thought those were so pretty, and I've actually never tried like just straight up glitter. I usually use like a metallic-y or like a pressed eyeshadow, but never straight up glitter. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to do like a first impression with these. This does retail for $5. So I am going to use two different primers. Well, one is a primer, the other one is a concealer. That way I can see what the glitter works better with. For one of the lids, I'm going to use the Urban Decay Primer Potion in the original shade. And on the other eye, I'm just going to use my LA Girl Pro Concealer. And I've already pricked my eye and done like a very natural, tiny bit of mauve shade just so it can like complement the purpley glitter. I'm going to start off with the concealer and apply it on my eye. And I'm going to try to stay as close as I can to create like a perfect shape. To apply the eyeshadow, I'm going to use this domed, very flat brush, very tiny and precise, and just dip it in. It's dry, and I'm just going to apply it straight to the concealer. Well, it's stuck on very well. My worry with the concealer, though, is that it will dry a lot faster than like a primer will, but that's why I wanted to try out different kinds. So it actually stuck pretty nicely to the concealer. Moving on to the primer side, I'm going to try to keep the same shape that I applied to the other eye. My only worry was that the concealer that I used was a little more yellow, so I hope it doesn't really affect the color. Okay, so now that I finished it, comparing both the sides, the primer side does definitely look a lot more glittery. It's like it clung on to the glitter a lot more and looks more concentrated, versus the concealer side, it did pick up the glitter, but it looks more sparse. The other thing I did notice is that looking at the mirror, I can see the purple like up close. Like I can see the little purple reflex. But far away, it just looks like a pink glitter. It looks so light. So I guess considering that I wanted more of the purple to be showing through, that is a little disappointing, but I mean, I still like how it looks like it's just not purple. So it's not bad, especially for $5. It's good. If you guys do want a purple, I would suggest getting probably something a lot darker than this, because it looks more champagne-y than the purpley side, I guess. So for the next product, I decided to finally try out the Eileen falsies. So I've been seeing these in a couple of different places, but I've never really wanted to try it. I don't know why. They've just been kind of piquing my curiosity. But then I was like, you know what? Let me just try them out finally. I love the packaging. First of all, it reminds me of like the balm theme. Kind of, I don't know, the whole 50s and the makeup and stuff. I don't know, it's cute. But I think the main thing I really like about it is the packaging. I like how they kind of double pack the lashes together. It's just so efficient. It saves so much room, especially for like, do like to wear a lot of falsies. This is the average size for about one pair of falsies, and they managed to put two in there. So I feel like that's so nice. I wish more companies would do that, because that just saves so much room and kind of just a little easier to work with, I guess. These do retail for $3, so I think that's a steal when it comes to falsies. That is a really good price. The main reason that I picked these out specifically, I'm not really sure what the name or number is because they're like really spiky. I don't know, and I thought they were so fun. Like they just look very like dramatic. I don't know. I also like how at the edges, like towards the tear duct, it gets really thin. I think that's so nice. It looks like a lot more natural, I guess. While my lashes are drying, I'm going to move on to the next product. I finally picked up the Fenty Beauty foundation. So I've actually have been debating on getting this because I've been hearing like mixed reviews. Some are like amazing and some are like eh. But finally I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it and make up my own mind about it. So this does retail for $34. I think that's actually a very good price. So thank you, Rihanna. This actually is not the first foundation I bought. I bought a darker shade, but whenever I swatched it, it actually oxidized so much that I was like shocked because it was a lot whiter when I swatched it, but by the time it oxidized, I was like, yikes, this is way too tan. So I went back and got a lighter shade. So I really hope that this matches me, but I'm scared because that one oxidized so much the first time. To give it a fair shot, I'm actually going to do one side with a primer and the other side just a bare skin. So for the primer, I'm going to use the Becca Poreless Matte Primer. And I'm only going to apply it in my like T-zone, so like around here and the edge of my nose, because that's really the only place I actually get oily. To let the primer set a little, I'm going to start on this side and then move over to the primer side. Tiny bit tanner than me, but it's not too bad. This definitely is very full coverage. I think this was only one pump and it covered up almost all my blemishes just on my cheek. I do have a little bit of like purpley pigmentation from my acne scar, but it's like almost faded. I think with like a second layer, it would completely cover that up. Wow, and this side has already oxidized because you can like see the color between this side and that side. I never like when foundations oxidize. Like, why do they have to oxidize? I don't understand. Why can't they make foundations that just are the color that they come out of from the bottle? That's so hard to do. I mean, maybe there's like an actual benefit when it oxidizes, but I don't know. I never heard of it. Is there a benefit? Have you guys heard of a benefit from oxidizing? It's funny, actually. I told my husband the foundation's oxidized and he's like iron? Oh, I thought that was so funny. It's kind of a little bit harder to smudge wherever I applied the primer, but it's not horrible. It's just like, I don't know, it's like a little more dense. That's possibly because the primer is like drying it out as soon as it touches the skin. I'm gonna go back with like a second coat and just do little spot touch-ups because for the most part it did an amazing job covering it up. Like it's covered almost everything up, but there's a few spots like right here. I don't know if it's visible on the camera. It's like showing a little bit purple, so I don't want that visible. So I ended up doing only one layer and it did a really good job covering it up. As for texture, now I can definitely tell a difference between the side that I used the primer on and the side that I didn't use anything on. The side with the primer looks straight up matte. And it actually even feels matte. Like, it's just matte. I like that. I like when it feels matte. I can't stand stickiness. It's just like, it feels like glue. Everything reminds me of glue if it's sticky. Can't stand that. The side with nothing on, I can see a gleam. Like, it's not glowy. It's not like illuminating. But it's like a satin-like finish. It looks really nice. Actually, I kind of like how it looks like better with the glow because it looks more natural versus the matte. And the matte kind of honestly even maybe looks a little more textury because of that. But also, I don't know if that's because this side is more like pimply. I don't know. But it does feel a tiny bit sticky. Not as sticky as before. I think after like it oxidized and set, it kind of mattified, but not fully because it has like the tiniest bit of like stickiness. I will let you guys know in the comments below how it wears after I, you know, test it out more and keep wearing it, because that's one of the biggest things for me is to see how foundations actually wear throughout the day. The next product I wanted to try out was the Revolution Illuminating Highlighter. So to be honest, I did use this once before with my other foundation. One of the biggest things that I love about liquid highlighters is the fact that they just melt into the foundation and they look like they belong. So I don't know, it's just the way it blends in together, it just looks so beautiful, and like the highlight looks natural. I love that. And the fact that it doesn't look so sharp, I think also is a huge bonus. So I applied it on my cheekbones, on my tip of my nose, and a tiny bit on my chin. And I think overall for the price and the formula, I think it's definitely worth it because it wasn't too runny, it wasn't too thick, it was just so easy to work with, and it wasn't like straight up glitter. I hate when liquid highlighters have like so much glitter specks in them. It just like, it just ruins it. So this one was like pure liquid gold. The next product I wanted to try out was the Revolution Luxury Baking Translucent Powder. So I've been wanting to try the RCMA one, but I don't know, haven't really brought myself to actually order it yet. But when I saw this one in the store, I was like, ooh, I like how it looks like. I'm first setting my under eyes and then gonna work towards the rest of my face. I do like doing my under eyes first because they do crease super fast, so it's like running against time. But this looks like it melted beautifully with the foundation. It's like it just kind of disappeared. Ooh, feels super soft. I like it. Now, I'm not a big fan with baking. I just don't really kind of get the concept. I mean, I get the concept, I just don't see why. So I like to bake in the other areas, not the traditional under the eyes, because your under eyes don't get oily. Like, why would you bake there? So if I ever decide to bake, I just do right here, like my jawline pretty much, my chin, and my smile line, and like my forehead. Like pretty much the areas that I get oily, because that makes sense when it comes to baking. I'm noticing although I'm setting it with a powder, the highlight, it's still doing like the glowiness. So that's a good sign, because sometimes when you put on like powder over the highlighter, it just like cancels it out, and that's possibly because the highlighter is like bad quality. So this shows that it's like, I mean, that's really good. Now it's just like matte and still glowy. It's always a good thing. Now my face is completely matte, when before only the primer side was matte. Now it's all matte. I love that. I am a matte girl at heart. I can't help it. I love when foundations look luminous, but I can't stand wearing them, especially because my skin gets oily way too fast. So it's like the luminous and glowiness only lasts for a little bit, and then I'm stuck matting my face and powdering the whole day, and that's just not worth all the work for me just to kind of get that initial look. I'm going to finish up the rest of my face and come back for the last product. For the last product that I wanted to try out, it is the Hard Candy Brightening Setting Spray. So they actually had like a couple of setting sprays that came out in this kind of, I guess, style or theme. I don't know. It was like a mattifying one, a dewy one, I don't know, some other one. I want to say color correcting, but that sounds kind of weird. And then this one. I wanted to get the mattifying one at first because that's what I usually stick with, but I figured, well, first of all, what's the difference between dewy and brightening? I always thought that dewy is brightening. So that was kind of like, okay, so if dewy is dewy, what is brightening? I don't know. I was kind of intrigued, so I figured let's try this out. The other thing is that it said it has vitamin C and rose oil, or rose water. Yeah, rose water. So I was like, yes, I need more vitamins. Gimme, gimme. So I like that idea, but it was only $10 too, so that was kind of like another bonus. It's a really good price for like a setting spray. So let's try this out. It said shake well on the package, so do that. And for a little testing spray so it doesn't mess up my makeup. Well, first of all, the rose smell is really strong. Like, that's the first thing I smell. I don't know if I really like it. I mean, it's not horrible. It's rose, but it kind of has like a fake rose smell, not like a real rose smell. But either way, let's try this out. But those were all the products that I wanted to try out with you guys. I overall, for the most part, liked all of them. Some of them kind of, I guess, disappointed me, but it wasn't like too bad. So a little overview, I guess. So for the glitter NYX eyeshadow, well, it's not really eyeshadow, it's just loose glitter. I like it. Okay, it's nice overall. The only thing I guess that disappointed me is the fact that it was purpley, but it definitely didn't come out. The purple didn't show through as much as like the pink did. So I am a little disappointed in that. I was really kind of going for like a purpley look. So moving on to the eyelashes, they do feel really nice and light. I like that. I never like eyelashes that feel really heavy. I can't stand wearing those. They poke me, they annoy me. I just feel like I'm wearing brooms on my face. So I definitely like how they feel. Like they just, it's like they're very light. It's like, I don't know. I just barely feel them, which is like one of my biggest things. I can't stand eyelashes that poke and prod on me. As of the overall price and the feel, I really like them. I'll probably be trying out the other styles that they sell. So for the foundation, it is super full coverage. So if you don't like that, I definitely would not recommend you purchasing it. As far as matteness goes, I wouldn't say it's 100% matte. It's probably very close to being matte, but it's like in the center of like almost matte, but it still has a dewiness to it. But overall, I think the total I used was 2.5 pumps for my entire face, which is very, very little. Like usually I kind of keep adding it on and building it up, and I barely had to do that. It covered up very, very well. Just like first time around, I only had to spot conceal some other problem areas. But overall, I definitely am impressed, and I'll see how it wears in the long run. As for the Revolution liquid highlighter, I am in love. This looks so beautiful. It looks natural. It looks very effortless. I love this highlighter. It just looks so nice, and it's not heavy. It doesn't look splotchy. I don't know. I really love this highlighter. It looks so good. The Revolution setting powder, I would definitely say it's worth the buy. It melted wonderfully with my skin. Like I can't even see where I put it. It just melted. It didn't crease. It did what a translucent powder should do. So for the $8, that's a steal. I think that's definitely worth it. And lastly, the setting spray. So I don't know, as far as like the brightening part, I can't tell that big of a difference. I mean, it melted my foundation and the powder together, so that's a good thing. But as for brightening, I can't see how it brightens. I don't know. But it's good. I don't really like the smell part. I don't know. I usually don't like setting sprays that have smells. So it's not like a biggie, but for the $10, I think it's definitely worth it because I go through setting sprays quite often. I use them so much. I love them. I can't live without them. So for $10 and, you know, doing a good job with melting my makeup together and blah, 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 stuff like that, I think it's worth it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful for any of you who were interested in any of these products. Subscribe if you would like to see any more videos. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. And it's a wrap. Better knock all my stuff over.